Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Um, we are here with a new Draft League team analysis. We have joined the Season 3 of the Universal Gaming Association, or the UGA. That intro was made by a guy called Rex. I will leave his Twitter and YouTube in the description below to go check him out. You guys might be aware that I'm also playing in the Great Lakes Draft League, which we are currently in week 9 of. If you are coming here from the UGLA server, feel free to go check those videos out. There's about, I think, 3 or 4 of them. So you can go check those out and you can see how I've been doing in those games. Anyway, on to the draft analysis of this team, bit of background information. I'm in the Kanto division, which is the Oceania / Japan / Pacific States of America division. So mostly people who are around in my same time zone, unlike the Great Lakes Draft League, which were mostly all eastern states. But we have managed to find that work, and this will be a little bit easier in terms of making things. So we go on to the team. We are the Perth Senti Scorchers. You must obviously know me from Great Lakes Draft League. I was the West Coast Braviaries. We've gone a rebrand this season, since a team has already taken the Braviaries, and I felt that they should deserve to keep that name, so I decided they've been here for a while, I think I'll change instead. So we were able to draft 1 A tier, 2 B tiers, 2 C tiers, and a D tier from our normal draft, so there'll be no 3 points involved. There was another tier called S, which included things like Dragapult, Selly, aka everything that was meta, and they cost 50 points, and they came out of 150 free points, which we had 5 free slots to fill. So you could do it in double order. You could grab an S, A, B, C, and D. You could grab 2 S tiers, but you have to grab 2 D tiers in response. So there was that. So anyway, let's get on with what we have drafted in this team. I am really happy with what I've been able to draft, and I think this team is actually going to do really well this season, in this league. The first pick was Metagross. I was pick 16, so having this thing drop to me at pick 16 was actually really good. Because I wanted to have a plan around getting a very powerful steel type early, and of course the best steel types are things like Metagross, Celesteela, Kartana, and as such, grabbing it early and grabbing it at pick 16 was so good. That all 3 of those steel types were on the board at that point. I didn't draft Kartana because it was too one-dimensional. I didn't draft Celesteela because I didn't want to have 3 Pokemon lead to Electric. And Glastrier was still on the board at this point as well. So you're probably thinking, why did you not just drop all your plans for Glass, for the horse? Because I've used Glastrier in Series 9, I kind of didn't want to use it again in the Draft League, and Glastrier is kind of broken, so I kind of didn't want to use a broken Pokemon. I kind of want to use something a lot more interesting with Metagross. And us being pick 16 allowed us to get the first pick of the second round, so what we did is we drafted Politoed. That's right, we drafted the Toad. Hashtag Toad Gang. Politoed is just, I rate Politoed more than I rate Pelipper. Yes, Pelipper gives you access to flying and Tailwind, but Politoed overall is a lot more bulkier, and has a lot more supportive tools, with Icy Wind, Helping Hand, Scald, which Pelipper does get. But Politoed is a pretty good Pokemon, and plus it doesn't look like a toilet. It's very visually pleasing to see a frog, not a toilet bird. But I think Politoed is a really, really solid Pokemon to have drafted. And of course you can start to see that I'm heading down the road of Metagross Rain composition. So that would explain why I didn't draft a Celesteela, even though Cele's really good on Rain. So with our next pick, we had to wait for a little while, and I was really, really hoping this Pokemon came back to me because it's a really, really good Pokemon to partner with Metagross, and that was one of the best Trick Room setters in the format, Mimikyu. Mimikyu with Disguise allows me to take one guaranteed hit. It has Dragon, and I'm not Dragon, it has Fairy and Ghost coverage, which is a really good offensive typing. It has really good support tools in Shadow Sneak, Trick Room, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, and it's just all around really, really good. And plus it procs Metagross, which is nice, but it can also go offensive if required. So I'm really happy to have gotten this Pokemon. But because it's a Pokemon I haven't used since I think Series 4, where I used it with a Weakness Policy Dragapult, because that was kind of the trend at that point. And Mimikyu, kind of a good Pokemon, and I kind of really enjoyed using it. So Mimikyu is a Pokemon I'm really happy to have gotten. So our next pick was a bit of an interesting one. You know, Metagross is normally paired with a Bulldozer like a Spectrier or an Entei. We didn't draft any of them. We didn't draft Entei and we didn't draft Spectrier. I had other plans for those. Spectrier would effectively dual typing with Mimikyu, giving us 2 ghost types, which wouldn't be good. And Entei, I had other plans for my fire type. So we drafted a B tier Pokemon, and that's Raikou. Raikou is an electric type Pokemon, which actually benefits greatly from being on a rain composition. 100% accurate thunders, and it gets access to Weather Ball and Scald. So it can be an offensive threat, but it also gets access to fast screens, Snarl, and access to Scary Face, with a base 115 speed. And it has inner focus, so it can't be faked out. This Pokemon I feel is an insane bargain for this tier. B tier for Raikou is so good. I can Bulldoze proc my Metagross, or I can go offensive with it. I can run Specs Thunder in the rain if I want to. And I'm really, really happy to have gotten this. Raikou is a Pokemon I knew was somewhat viable, because in Series 9, some people had done well with it. On a Metagross Rancor, an example was Pato in the X9 tour. He had a team of Politoed, Metagross, Raikou, PZ, Clef. So that was a really solid combination, and I thought, why not? Let's get Raikou. It's a B tier, and we don't have to waste any more points on getting Spectrier or Entei to do it. No, I am happy to have grabbed this Pokemon. Next up is Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan is a Pokemon you might feel is a little bit out of place on this team, but what it has Inner Focus, it has Iron Fist, and I think it gets Keen Eye. I'm pretty sure it does. I don't know what its spell ability is, but the two that matter are Inner Focus and Iron Fist. So it gives me access to Fake Out, and I originally drafted this thing to pair with a Pokemon called Crustle. And Crustle has the ability of Weak Armor, and Hitmonchan has Bullet Punch. So I was going to grab that and do a Weakness Policy Weak Armor shenanigans with it. But plans had ultimately had to change. And I had already drafted Hitmonchan by the time those plans had to be changed. So it was a Pokemon I looked at trading, but I didn't go through with that plan, and I have some interesting options for what I could do with this Pokemon. It also gets access to coaching, so I got some coaching boosts on some Pokemon. So there is that. Our next Pokemon is our Fire type, and it's a Pokemon you all can already see on our logo. It was Centiskorch, more namely the G-Max form. Centiskorch is a Pokemon I actually really like on this composition, purely because its G-Max move traps the opponent in, and can hit the Pokemon that Politoed is weak to, so it gives us a Perish Trap mode, if we so want to go down that route. And a mascot pick, everyone loves a good mascot pick, and Centiskorch is a Pokemon I really wanted to use in VGC for a fair while. I wanted to use it in Series 9, but never got around to it. I wanted to try and use it in Series 10, but I don't like Series 10, so I haven't been using it. So I felt it kind of fits here on what I want to do, has good synergy with the team. Why not? Let's draft it. And we got it. So I'm really happy to have gotten Centiskorch. It allows for an audition, for an alternate mode to be made with the team. It isn't just rain; it could be Perish Trap as well. So there is that. With our next pick, you're probably all wondering, you've gone 6 picks in and you haven't grabbed the Swift Swimmer or a Rain Abuser yet. And I'm like at this point, I think I can't waste my time, waste any more picks on waiting. I think I should grab it now. Because knowing that I thought the person above me would have drafted a Swift Swimmer, and I potentially got a little bit of intel that they may be looking at the Swift Swimmer I wanted. And the Swift Swimmer I wanted was Barrascuda. Barrascuda is a nice Pokemon. It's beautiful. It's very fast at 136 base speed. It has 2 great abilities. It involves Swift Swim and Propeller Tail. And that's the reason why I drafted over something like a Ludicolo. Barrascuda doesn't need rain to be good. It just needs rain to be more good. And Propeller Tail is a great ability. We've seen Duraludon do well with Stormwatt. And Propeller Tail is just good considering there is a Cinderace PZ Togepi team. So Barrascuda could do pretty well into that. And there's a lot of other redirection teams that are a bit weak to a Barrascuda. So Barrascuda, pretty good pick for me. I have used it before as a meme, but I really think this Pokemon actually can put in a lot of work on this team, and it's one of the better Swiss swimmers. So next pick was Thwackey. Thwackey was not originally on this team. I originally wanted Tangrowth or Tangela because they are redirectors. I've used Tangela on my Great Lakes Draft Lake team roster. It's actually pretty solid. I only just brought it last week though. So I felt having some redirection here might be nice, considering Metagross would appreciate it, Centiskorch would appreciate it, Raikou would appreciate it, Mimikyu would appreciate it, but by the time we got to us, Tangrowth and Tangela had been sniped, Fungus I think had been taken, and I think Togepi had been taken. So we had almost no redirectors except for, for example, a Butterfree, and I didn't really feel like drafting Butterfree. So instead we started to go, okay, what's the backup plan? And we went, Thwacky's still available. Rillaboom is good on rain compositions. Thwackey is just baby Rillaboom. It gets everything Rillaboom gets, and is a value of a C tier Pokemon. And as such, we picked it up. I'm actually really happy with Thwackey, and I'm actually surprised it lasted to round 8, considering that Rillaboom is a pretty good Pokemon, and I'm sure people would want baby Rillaboom on their team. So it gives us grassy terrain, which actually protects Metagross a bit from Pokemon that only have access to Earthquake as their ground move. So I'm really happy to grab Wacky, good support, proof pool, grass typing, grassy light spam. It's going to be fun. So next up, we drafted a dragon type, but we also wanted a flying type. And we had many options of what we wanted to do here. We had Flygon plus Unpheasant, we had Haxorus plus Unpheasant, and I decided to draft Noivern. Noivern is a Pokemon that gives you access to Frisk and Infiltrator, and is Dragon Flying, and has access to Hurricane. And the fact that this Pokemon is still available at this point kind of told me I should really draft this thing, because it gives me Dragon, it gives me Flying. Two typings that I absolutely want to grab. And plus it would open up my DT slot to picking up something else. So Noivern is a fun Pokemon to use. It gets access to Frisk, so I can find out what items my opponent has on their Pokemon, and then from there I can determine, are they Scarfed, are they Sashed, are they a Violet, are they got a type resist berry, which is actually going to be super helpful, and I can find that out on turn 1 and make my correct play instead of hitting into a type resist berry or a Sash or getting out sped. So there is that, and it also gives me fast Tailwind, which a couple of Pokemon on his team actually appreciate. Mimikyu would appreciate it, Centiskorch appreciates it, Metagross would appreciate it. So there is that. So I have a fast mode on my team, which is super solid, which isn't Rain. So next up, I felt we needed a bit more support. So you could look at a team, you kind of got at most probably Mimikyu, Wacky, Toad, Hitmonchan as supportive pieces, and Raquel at times. So I felt I think I needed one more support piece to this team, and I felt all these Pokemon are still available at round 9. Or round 8, because I had the wheel pick. So I drafted Ordino. The reason why I drafted Ordino is the ability of Healer. And you can see my team is largely physically orientated, with Hitmonchan, Barraskewda, Mimikyu, and Metagross being largely physical attackers. So being able to take away something like a burn of one of those Pokemon is actually going to be really, really solid. It also gives me access to Slow Trick Room, has a really good supportive move pool, and I just think this Pokemon can put in a lot of good work. And it's a support base that only has one weakness, being Fighting, which is super easily covered by my team with Metagross and Noivern, and by the fact I could just throw a Chople Berry on it, and it should just live. And with our last pick with the draft, we got Trapinch. Maybe we're thinking, Trapinch? Why Trapinch? Trapinch gives us Arena Trap, and has base 100 attack, but it didn't live for long, because Trapinch was nice and all, but I think it was a tiny bit of too much of a meme pick, so we dropped it. And as such, we picked up a staple Pokemon of a rain composition, which is a Lightning Rod user. And those who have probably watched my Great Lakes Draft League video, you will be aware that I had drafted Rhydon. Rhydon is a Pokemon that actually benefits my team a bit more than Trapinch did, because he has a overall higher base attack, it has a lot more physical bulk, and it gives me Lightning Rod to protect Barraskewda and Politoed. Yes, I lose the trapping ability, but it's a ground type, which is strong, and plays well under Trick Room. So, there is that, and I'm actually pretty happy to have got it. And the backup pick of Anaconda just got picked up in the grace period, which is the same period where we dropped Trapinch to Rhydon. So anyway, matches will begin next week. We don't know who we're playing first, but I think this team can take on whoever we face. So, until then, we will also have our Great Lakes Draft League match tomorrow against Rolos, Mass Magikarps. So stay tuned for that. Very big matchup coming up there. That video will be recorded Tuesday morning and should be out on the same day. So stay tuned for that, and also stay tuned for my Universal Gaming Association matches coming up in a week or so. So until then, I'll see you soon.